Tülay Özer, a voice that once carried the emotional weight of an era, has passed away at the age of 79, leaving behind a legacy that quietly but deeply touched those who followed her music. The news of her passing was shared with the public by music producer Hakan Eren, marking the end of a life that had long been intertwined with melody, memory, and resilience. For years, she had been facing ongoing health challenges, and it was known that she had been undergoing dialysis treatment for a considerable period of time. Despite this prolonged struggle, her passing still arrived with a sense of heaviness, as it closed the chapter on a figure who had contributed to a distinct period in Turkish music history. Details regarding her funeral arrangements have not yet been fully disclosed, though it is expected that her family will soon share further information, allowing those who admired her to properly say goodbye. Born into a life that would eventually find its rhythm in music, Tülay Özer was also known as the older sister of singer Zerrin Özer, creating a familial connection that further tied her identity to the world of performance and song. While her sister would go on to achieve widespread recognition, Tülay herself carved out her own space, particularly during the 1970s, a time when her voice resonated through records and performances that captured the emotional tone of the period. Her journey into music officially began in 1974, when she released her first 45 RPM single, titled Gel Artık Niye Çattın Kaşlarının. This marked not only the beginning of her professional career, but also her introduction to audiences who would come to associate her voice with a blend of longing, sincerity, and melodic storytelling. The following year, in 1975, proved to be a significant turning point in her career. It was during this time that she reached a broader audience with the release of her album, İkimiz Bir Fidanız, Son Ümit, which was issued under the Kent Plak label. The album allowed her to step more firmly into the spotlight, presenting her voice and artistic style to a wider listenership. That same year, she took to the stage at the Izmir Fair, an event that held considerable cultural importance and offered performers a platform to connect directly with large audiences. Her presence there further strengthened her growing recognition, and her efforts were acknowledged when she received a Golden Record Award, a moment that reflected both her rising popularity and the impact of her work during that period. As her career continued to develop, Tülay Özer released another 45 RPM single, later in 1975, titled Deli Etme Beni Aşk, Neden Ayrıldık. This release carried forward into 1976, where it achieved chart success, reinforcing her position within the music scene of the time. These songs were not merely recordings, they were expressions of emotion shaped through collaboration and musical arrangement. During this phase of her career, she worked with arrangements by Esin Engin, whose influence helped shape the sound of her music. Together they created pieces that blended elements of Anatolian pop with arabesque influences, resulting in a style that felt both rooted in tradition and reflective of contemporary musical trends. Her repertoire during these years was largely composed of works by Haki Bulut and Bora Ayanoğlu, both of whom contributed to the emotional and thematic depth of her songs. Through these collaborations, Tülay Özer's music carried a sense of cohesion, with each piece reflecting a shared artistic direction that emphasized feeling, narrative, and melodic richness. Her voice became a vessel through which these compositions reached listeners. And while her time in the spotlight may not have extended across decades in the same way as some of her contemporaries, the work she produced during her active years held a distinct place within the musical landscape of the 1970s. In 1976, she reached another milestone with the release of her first full-length album, issued once again by Kent Plak. This LP represented a broader canvas for her artistry, allowing her to present a more comprehensive collection of songs that reflected her musical identity. The album served as a continuation of the momentum she had built in the preceding years, offering listeners a deeper experience of her voice and the themes she explored through her music. It was a period marked by steady output and a clear sense of direction, as she continued to establish herself within a competitive and evolving industry.